Hey everyone, so I'm back with another school tips video, and I thought this one is so important, and this is on exam strategies and tactics. So I've taken a lot of exams and I found a way to take exams depending on what type of exam it is. So I have a lot of tips and I hope you guys enjoy them. So first of all, some teachers give you open book exams and people think, okay, I don't need to study, but that's not it. I think you should still prepare for that exam. What I like to do is take all of my notes, my handouts, and even my textbook, and I kind of organize them. So I organize them usually by chapter and by topic, and make sure that I know the main points and the key concepts that will most likely be on the test. So if I need to know more information about it, I can quickly find it, and I kind of know in my head what the answer is, and I can just go to my textbook or something just to double check. So that way you're not searching like aimlessly for the answer when you're on the test, because that can really kill your time on the exam. So do that. And also in your textbook, if you have little tabs, or you can even take post-its and literally just stick them on there so you can find the key concept really quickly. So if it's open book, remember to always be prepared. Okay, so once you get your exam, the first thing that I suggest is to quickly look through the exam. Just go through the pages and you can kind of see what kind of questions you're going to have. So if there was a bunch of multiple choice, a couple essay questions, some true and false, some problem-solving questions, make sure to look at that, so that way you can kind of mentally prepare yourself to be like, okay, so most of it is multiple choice, okay, I can do that, and at the end I want to look at what essay questions are on here to make sure I know what the answers are. So kind of prioritize your time. After you look at all of the things that you have on your exam, try to think, okay, if I have 60 minutes for this test and there are 60 multiple choice questions, I have about a minute per question. This is all preference during an exam, but if you want to get the easy questions out of the way, do that first. So that way you kind of build your confidence and you feel like, okay, I can do this exam, and you can get those simple ones out of the way, and those are easy points for you. That's what usually I like to do. But sometimes if there's essay questions that are worth more points, I kind of go and I tackle those first, so that way I get the maximum amount of points while all that information is still in my head. So I like to get sometimes the really easy things out of the way, and then sometimes the really hard things out of the way. It really depends on what type of test it is and how many points all the questions are. So next is you need to consider the point value of each question. So just like dividing your time, divide the points. If you think that you can get the best points out of the essay questions, then you should definitely do those first and do your best at those to get those maximum points. But if you think that you're really good at the multiple choice questions, go ahead and do those. So consider the point value for each question. It's just like prioritizing your test. So you kind of have an idea of, okay, I know the answer to this question and I'm going to tackle this, do my best, get the maximum points. And when you're taking your exam, if you get stuck and you're spending way too much time than you need to on that question, then move on, because you don't want to be stuck at that question, wasting your time, and there might be clues within the test. I notice when I'm taking tests, some of the multiple choice questions can help me with my essays, or like another multiple choice question gives me a clue to the answer of another. So make sure to just go through it, and if ones that you get stuck on, kind of circle them and you can go back to those. And usually like another question sparks my memory and I go back to that question that I didn't answer, and I'm like, okay, now I know the answer. So sometimes the test gives you clues to the answers. So for the different type of questions that are on an exam, there's multiple choice, and this can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how well you studied. So with multiple choices, I like to make sure to read the question very carefully and like to go through it with my pencil and circle or underline keywords. So if there's a word in there that really sparks my memory and reminds me of a key concept, I'll circle that. And then if it has a word like a keyword, like if it says not, like this does not, this will, just look at the question carefully, because it could definitely turn your answer around. So make sure to find those keywords in the question and read carefully through it. Don't just see the keyword and think that you know the answer right away, because sometimes, you know, might be a trick question, or it might be the opposite answer, which would be really bad. So make sure to reread your questions as well as read the directions carefully as well. So before answering a multiple choice question, remember to read all the options. You may have the right answer, but you may not know that there's a better answer or a more accurate answer. So make sure to go and look through that. Or sometimes it might be all of the above or A and B, something like that. So make sure to check all your options before selecting your answer. And just like the question, go through the answers and kind of circle and underline keywords too. Make sure to look for words like always, never, will, not, just keywords that can really change the answer around. So I guess I'm just saying to really read carefully. Also, when you're answering questions, you can also write little notes on the side if that helps, just so maybe in the future you see a question and you can refer back to those notes. So for problem solving questions, this can be really tricky, so this is how I do it. I read the question and I underline again keywords, and those keywords usually identify the type of equation that I need to use. So I kind of remember, okay, this is the equation that needs Avogadro's number on there. And then I would kind of write that down, and then I write down the steps that I need to get the answer. So if there's multiple steps, I write down the 2 or 3 steps that I need. So in my head, I'm already planning the problem. And then after that, you just plug in the numbers that are given in the question, and from there you can figure out the answer. So I find that best for me because my mind is like on a track to get to the right answer, rather than kind of getting really like panicky and not knowing what to do with the question. So really take your time. As for essay questions, people get really scared of essay questions because they're usually a lot of points and they will take the most time. So the best thing to do is to make a mini outline. That's what I always do when I have essay questions. Have a mini outline of what you're going to do. Just go on the side of your paper and probably think of like 3 main topics you're going to talk about, or the 3 key concepts that you want to touch on, and then think of 1 or 2 examples for each. Also remember to identify the key concept, and if you have any definitions that you need to throw in there, definitely just write that down real quick on the side. And then as you're writing your essay, you can really organize your thoughts that way, and when they're organized, your information and the answer comes out more clear, and when it's more clear, you get better points. So that is my advice for essay questions, and always go back and read through it to just check your spelling and your grammar. After you're done with your exam, take a few minutes to double check your answers. Go through the tests again and kind of do it quickly. Don't spend too much time rethinking, because most of the time your first instinct is correct. So I'm not saying you don't need to make changes, but if you really think that you found the better answer, then go ahead and change the answer. But going and double checking can really help you find like careless errors, because sometimes you're just rushing, you're not thinking. So after the test, you can go back and kind of rethink and maybe find the better answer. So look through that, check your spelling, if you're doing essays, check your grammar, check your equations. I like to do that, check my calculations sometimes if it's a really difficult problem. So just go back and kind of just reassure yourself that you did really well and you can turn in your exam. So those are my tips. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will have a list of all the tips and strategies that I mentioned on my blog, beautymeetslifestyle.com, and I also have a video on how to prepare for an exam and how to successfully pull an all-nighter. So yeah, I'll have that video linked as well as more of my videos on my school tips playlist. And if you guys have any more requests, please leave them on my Facebook, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!